the way we lived in 2019 and earlier would have to die because we did not move from unconditional love. We moved from money is my God, the media is my God, actors are my God, celebrities. We move from outside is the answer. We move from I am what I achieve. These are not how we want to live. And even if we were successful at it, even if we said I am what I achieve and we achieved amazing things, we still were conditional love. In the old world, we said I am what I achieve. And we achieved amazing things. So we felt worthy of love, but we didn't notice our bizarre rule that said I have to achieve something to be enough. So you're birthing a world of unconditional love. So what has to leave? The world as you knew it. That's what's happening. We've gone through that phase of seeing the positive, right? In 2006, The Secret came out and taught you how to see the positive. And at one point that was really, really, really important because a lot of people didn't even know that there was any control they could have of their thoughts. And instead of just kind of being this kind of victim to life, you could change your thinking and think positive. And we went through a massive motivational phase, and we've learned, a lot of us have learned we can make things happen. And this motivational phase is really exciting, and you see the positive and there's all this great stuff. Now I want to talk to you about what January is trying to do and what January 2022 is the beginning of. Because you might notice as we're talking and all this positive energy and we're saying all the exciting things about what's going on in the world, that also there might be a feeling going on for many of you that resembles maybe falling apart or lostness or letting go or darkness or horror or confusion or sadness. And because we've grown up in this world that has emphasized positive so much, we almost think that sadness, letting go, losing control, falling apart is a bad thing. And what's going on right now in this time is we have slowed down so much in the last 2 years that our constant ability to escape has no ability to escape anymore. So imagine that up until 2020, we have been able to escape darkness that exists in our body. We've had the ability to just constantly be motivated about another thing, or, if something falls apart, a relationship falls apart, you can just get a new person. Or if the job falls apart, that's okay, because whatever. We can cope and we can go through these different escape mechanisms, and we don't even know that there's a dark world inside of our body. And the only thing that constitutes its darkness is that it's not seen. I don't mean dark like we should be judging the shit out of it. I mean that it's not seen, right? Like all darkness in the world, in certain ways, there's a purpose to it, right? Like when you lift up a carpet outside and there's like a bunch of maggots and worms and all these gooey, ucky things, they still actually serve a purpose. Like bacteria eats things that are dead, right? And these things are serving a purpose too. And we go, oh, that's gross, that's yucky. No, just positive for me. But all of these things serve a purpose to be seen, right? And the more we do this inner work, we realize that it's not just constantly being in the positive. We have to also hold space for what is going on inside of our body. And there's more than just constant positive thinking going on inside of our body. And our body has been amazing at storing that stuff. And it's almost like we've been living without even knowing there's a carpet here under all of how we've been living. We've been living in this positive frequency. Or in this victim mentality, but not understanding the other side. We've been living in patterns, right? But then 2020 happens and 2021 happens. And what did it do? It slowed down your escapee, because it changed your patterns. It changed how you moved that you just thought was you. It changed your instant ability and easy ability to just get on a plane whenever you want, or just keep running the same motions of going back to a job that maybe didn't call to your soul, maybe did, but you always could keep going to the same way and not have to just slow down and look at what's going on inside. So imagine that for the last 2 years, that escaper is like losing its grip and it can't escape. So imagine now we've had 2 years of that and we're getting more and more here. And one of the things some of you might have noticed is a feeling of almost a crevice showing up, a crevice in your body where it's like, okay, now that I'm so much more here, I can't escape as easily. I can't figure out what to do relationship wise or work wise, or keeping all my friends together. A lot of people are losing a lot of friends. And there's a lot of people saying words like, I'm trying to keep it all together, right? Anything you're trying to keep together is trying to fall apart, right? Things that are natural, you don't have to keep together, right? You don't have to go, how do I keep the tree outside from falling down? Because it's just going to keep going. And there are certain friendships you might notice there's a few that you don't have to keep together. Do you understand this? Like, because it's just that person's there and I'm there for them and we know it. We could have many months go by where we don't talk, yet we're still there. You don't have the vibration of keeping it together. So a lot of things are trying to fall apart. And we think it could be love. Like, this person, I've loved each other for a long time and it's falling apart. No, that's attachment. And we've called attachment love, which has made it so much more scary because we don't understand the truth of what it is. It's attachment that's falling apart. That's different than love falling apart. So if you're like, this relationship, we tried so hard and it fell apart. No, attachment fell apart. And what happens when it falls apart? Well, you now have a bigger capacity because you're not in the smaller keep it together energy. You almost surrender. I was talking to someone today about something falling apart in their life. And they said, I noticed that I felt like there was a me that was outside of the me that was falling apart. Has anyone experienced that? Where you almost stepped out of yourself and you saw the fall apart? Has anyone felt that? Like there was a me that fell apart, and then there's a me that sees the me falling apart. I'm actually watching that person fall apart. That's awakening. That's actually you going to the more truth of what you are as you're watching your patterns fall apart. That's you awakening. So if you step out and you see, you're like, wow, she or he just is falling apart. Like I'm sitting back. That's why it's falling apart, because you've moved to a frequency that can see it. So you're not fully identified as the pattern itself. Do you get this? So here you are now seeing you fall apart. And the second you start to see it, it doesn't have the same grab on you because you're not identified as it. You see, if the falling apart energy is falling apart and you 100% think it's you, then this is death. But if you step out of the falling apart and you get a glimpse of another you seeing a person over here falling apart, then what are you? How were you the one falling apart? And then how were you now the one that sees the falling apart? Right? So take a deep breath in for a second and release it and realize that if you've seen anything like that, that's because you are moving to the capacity to see it. You have been slowly, but for sure, merging with the now. And you are finally at a place where you can see it because it no longer serves you. Just see it like a grade falling off of you. Third grade just fell out of your body, right? And you might sometimes go back and forth between the two identities. You might be the fall aparter, and you might be the one that sees the fall aparter. So there's a you that's falling apart, and then the you that sees it. And you will go back and forth for a while, right? So you'll go into the pattern, and that's fine because you're already seeing it. So it won't last as long, right? You're already seeing it. And then you go back and you see that you that fell apart. And then you go back again and you see the two patterns and you're like, now which one am I? There's a seer of the faller apart, and there's a faller apart. And there's now a person here that sees the two of them. And you start to understand that you are the viewer of the viewer of the viewer. And you keep being more and more present, and it keeps purging like a snake purging its skin, the shells that no longer serve you. And did I say serving? Thank you. You said shedding. You keep serving a snake serving its skin. Would anyone like my skin? No. It's top notch. This is no. I'll just shed it then. So what are you if this keeps changing, if you keep moving to a higher awareness, right? Now you're going to notice something. As you keep moving to the viewer of the viewer of the viewer, you have a higher capacity to see. So guess what happens? It goes, okay, I'm going to bring up something that has been buried in your body that you never knew was there. But this will help you understand why you were scared of a certain kind of person, or why you feel a darkness, or whatever. You now have a capacity. That's what it's saying. You now have a capacity to handle more. So when you were 4, Dad yelled at you, and I'm going to make that experience come up again so that this can leave. So weirdly, yesterday, I wanted to call today's talk the January opening. And then last night I had a dream. And the dream was a person that I knew was downstairs at my house. And then there was another person I knew in a bedroom in another room. And the person in this bedroom was trying to sleep. So they yelled downstairs at the person downstairs. And their yell was like, I need you to blah, blah, blah. You got to be quiet. I'm trying to sleep. And while they kept doing it, they were, you got to sleep. And they turned into something that was terrifying to me. Like they turned into this energy that screamed louder and louder. And it went from an anger to a rage. And I noticed that this was really scary to me. And I woke up right after, and I got up to go pee, and I noticed I was scared a lot. Like the world felt scary. And so while I was walking, I noticed this feeling of looking around. Am I safe in the house? Why is that? Because I've accessed a crevice where something in my body that is horrified can slowly come to light. Luckily, I have enough information and understanding of what's going on to be present for it and just be there. You just get here and you just go, oh, there's a terrified energy in my body. Why is that? Maybe in my childhood, someone went to rage, or maybe I was hit when that happened, or maybe, whatever. There's an energy that person has that feels the same as someone else when I was a kid, that they aren't the same. But my body goes, when someone's like that, they become something rageful. And that pattern shows up in my body. So I just was present with a feeling of terror, and I'm fine with that. I walked around the house with a feeling of terror. And if you feel terrified energy right now, or whatever in this time, that's good, because you've accessed a crevice that you have the capacity to go deeper, right? It's fine. It's just coming up. It's there because it's there, right? And you got to know that in this time, one of the things going to happen is truths that have been buried in your body are going to come to light. I want you to picture there's this crevice showing up in January. And I want you to picture that as you see it, it'll be less terrifying in the future, because it goes, okay, this is scary. Just be present. It's a passing energy. It's passing. You just get present. There's terror in my body. There's feeling in my body, right? It's passing. You are the presence. So when you feel terror in your body, you just get present and just be excited, because this thing was buried and now it's coming to light. One thing I want to offer you is get okay with certain things. There's a lot of people that want to stay above and nowhere near that carpet. But now you've graduated through that. So you're actually accessing a deeper capacity in your body, and nature wants to lift the carpet up. And there's worms and gunk. And we'd rather have the carpet up with worms and gunk being cleaned out than keep the carpet down and be in a denial. And that's why 2022 will be painful if you're in a lot of denial. But if you're in presence, you're going to be okay. And you have to be open to the fact that not only internally, but on the external, life is going to bring to light a lot of things that challenge how you've seen the world. There's a lot of darkness that's happened in governments, in media, and all these other things. And the universe does not care. It's going to bring these things to light. And you can be like, nope, the world is this small thing that I know it is. And this is going to be a really hard time where this is coming to light all over the place. Or you can get in your power and be with this now that holds space for the real truth of the world, which is you not just handing your authority to everything outside of you, but you being present to the now and you being aware that I am here for this. I am here to learn. I'm here to expand. A lot of times we want to expand, but we want to expand in a controlled way. Like I used to say, the only thing I want in a relationship is growth. But then what happens if the relationship actually doesn't align and I actually could be getting growth in a way that's bigger than my controlled way, right? Do you get this? Like you might go, I want to grow, but sometimes we only want to grow like the way we did before. So I kind of want to control it and keep it within my realm versus, oh, life is falling apart, but that's actually causing my growth more. Right? That thing that's falling apart is, I don't have any idea what the hell's going on. This doesn't make sense. Oh, that's actually growth because you're still here, you're still alive, you're still present. And our job is to get present because life is doing what it can right now in this time for you to hold presence for real growth, because all it's trying to do is get you connected to the now. Connected to the now. And everything that's falling apart is the block from your full experience of the connection to the now. That's the only thing falling apart, right? Here's this world that's you merging with source. And it's so magical, but weirdly it can't when you're so focused on what Congress said or what the news said or what to do about that thing that's falling apart. You're not here with this energy. You're in the keeping everything else that's blocking you from the now up. So this time is about the presence for this fall apart. And you might have noticed what feels like almost like a dark version of when you're playing a video game or you see someone playing a video game and it goes, achievement unlocked. Like you now have access to like the surprise, there's a new world because that's going on in you, but it's a dark one, like gunk unlocked. Anything that's coming up is coming up because you finally found a level of yourself that can see it. Notice everything that's coming up could have come up 5 years ago because it was in your body, but weirdly you weren't ready to see it. So this time is going to be sped up, and weirdly, whatever's coming up for you, in the same way, it's different things, but the same exact amount is showing up for everybody. Everyone in the world, it's like that carpet is starting to do this for all of us. That little crevice is opening right now, right? Now, some people want to stay here and don't want to see this. So this is hell. Some people like me are like, bring it. Like, I want to see what's in there. What's in there? Sometimes I make the mistake of trying to speed it up. Like I'll feel the carpet. Like last night I felt terror and I was like, oh, I just wanted to do this. I was like, no, don't rip it. Just get present. It will open up at its pace. It's like a seed. It's going to open up at its pace. Don't be in a hurry. Because I'm always like, let's go. But I'm like, why? Why do I want to be in a hurry? Why not be present for the process, right? So January is your opportunity to be present for truths that you would have never considered. And if you don't know, then life is horrifying because nothing was what you thought it was. If you do know that that's what's happening, which is hopefully the purpose of this call, to help you bring awareness, there's going to be a lot of things that aren't what I thought life was. There's going to be a lot of things coming to light in the world. It's amazing to me. It's an exciting time to me because I know, after being someone who's been through so many breakthroughs of my own, that a breakthrough in one person, let alone the world, but a breakthrough in one person is everything feels worse and worse and worse. And then you discover a truth about yourself you didn't see. And then God, then it's better than the best you had ever had before that, right? So that's what happens with the breakthrough. I've had so many breakthroughs in my life that you start to understand, and every single breakthrough that I've ever had is a different one than before, right? So you have this one breakthrough and it's this huge thing and life was just totally different. And you're like, what was that? And then like 4 years later, you're trying to do all the same shit you did 4 years ago to manufacture the same breakthrough. And it's like, nope, that won't work now because it's a different time. So you have to surrender that way that was like the answer 4 years ago. And then that falls apart. And then you have another one. And then life goes, okay, I got more for you to learn, but you won't learn it if you think it's the same way. But every time you're about to have a breakthrough, you keep going to the teaching that you learned from the breakthrough before. And now it's like you start to learn, I have no idea, there's no way. But life is seeming darker, 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 and then acceptance, a new lesson, and then the purge of that darkness. That's a breakthrough, right? That's what's going on in the world. Doesn't it feel collectively, like for all of us right now, everyone as a collective right now, the world feels, without even knowing specifics. By the way, on all sides of every political opinion, on all sides of every mandate, on all sides of every whatever, it feels darker and darker and darker. Well, that darkness was existing before, it was just hidden. So to me, I'm like, we're lifting the carpet and we're going to see what life's like if we clean all the bugs out. So it's happening both in you personally and it's happening in the world. And you might notice they all tie together. In other words, the days that I have a huge fall apart, I notice a ton of people around me do, right? And I notice the world suddenly reveals something at the same time, right? As you fall apart, the people around you fall apart, the world reveals something. We're now in a capacity where we can hear more. And we don't hear it to shame it. We don't hear it. We just hear it to learn it, to accept it, which dissolves it, right? Once you accept, and you can't egoically accept it. Okay, I see it, I accept it. No, it goes, it'll decide when it leaves. It comes up and there's like this revelation you have about yourself. And then maybe you start out by, I never saw this before, and you start shaming it, right? Why didn't I see this before? You're not ready to release it because while it's coming to light, you're sitting here mad at it. That won't release it because you're here to learn love. So you go through all these different things with it. Some days you'll have it where it just doesn't leave for days, but then finally it'll take you to some place. It goes, okay, it just decides this is because of mom that one day. And you just see a different perspective. You either see your mom's side of it or your side of it that you never saw, right? And you just cry. And then you accept. And now reality is different. Like now reality is different. Because that thing isn't something that can be triggered in you anymore. So life doesn't have to bring that trigger to you anymore. So you start ascending and that shame pattern is gone and your vibration is higher and you will see the world higher. You might even see the day after you release something amazing, you might see a real dark thing in the world, but notice that doesn't scare you as much anymore. Why is that? Oh, because that trigger is gone. So it might be coming to light because you released your trigger and now that part of the world can heal. You'll see the mirror and you'll start to go, holy shit, play with this premise. This is a mirror of me. Play with that idea. This is why you don't want to get too caught in needing everyone else to wake up. That's you running from the trigger that it's trying to bring to light. Why don't they get this? I want Bill over here to understand this. No. Just get here. Get merged to the now. Get present. Let's make that crevice feel safe enough to open. Let's make that thing that you've been pushing away, which is just this poor inner child that was yelled at or abandoned or neglected or hit, feel like they're loved, even if they show up. In your body, you'll notice this little kid that goes, I feel unworthy. Imagine if that little kid for the first time, when she felt unworthy or he felt unworthy, didn't have you running to a solution. Well, we better get a job so she or he feels worthy. Instead, I'm with you even if you're unworthy. I'm with you even if you're invisible. I'm with you even if you're nothing. Because this isn't about what you need to be to earn love. And you'll notice that inner child was what you were doing. I need to go chase love externally because my belief is I'm not worthy of love until I do something. But if you allow that thing to see that I'm here with you, even if you're unworthy, I'm here with you, even if you're a fuck up, I'm here with you, even if you fail. Now you're becoming unconditional love. I'm here with you, even if you feel unseen. I'm here with you, even if you think you're a piece of shit. I'm here with you because it's not about what it is. It's about, are you with it no matter what? That's what meditation will do for you. It'll bring that stuff up and it'll start to do what it can to keep its conditional love going. And you just stay right here with it. Stay present for it. I'm here with you. And then imagine if what you're doing, how crazy is this? Imagine if what you're doing is actually getting in a time machine and going to that childhood moment where it felt unloved and you're rewriting history and going back to that energy and bringing unconditional love and changing your past. That you that was shamed by your parents when you were a kid, what if that you is trying to come to light and you can be the unconditional love and you are literally rewriting your childhood? What if now in your past, the you in your childhood was visited by the you in the now and says, I love you if you're unworthy. And then that changes all of reality for that child. That changes everything, right? That's what's happening. And then the world goes, okay, this person's now working from unconditional love. Well, guess what would never work in a world of unconditional love? The old way we lived. The way we used to live was completely conditional. The way that we lived was, I love you because you're what I need egoically, and you will love me because of how much I've accomplished. You'll love me because of my achievement story or my victim story. If we go to a world of unconditional love, the way we lived in 2019 and earlier would have to die because we did not move from unconditional love. We moved from money is my God, the media is my God, actors are my God, celebrities. We move from outside is the answer. We move from I am what I achieve. These are not how we want to live. And even if we were successful at it, even if we said I am what I achieve and we achieved amazing things, we still work conditional love. In the old world, we said I am what I achieve. And we achieved amazing things. So we felt worthy of love, but we didn't notice our bizarre rule that said I have to achieve something to be enough. So you're birthing a world of unconditional love. So what has to leave? The world as you knew it. That's what's happening. The world that you used to know must leave because it was not based on unconditional love. So we can keep the old world and live in some random group of patterns that say you have to move in a certain way to stay not abandoned. And we can keep the old world the way it was and keep our whatever thing that didn't fulfill us and be a crazy addict and be in denial about it. Or we can welcome the work and the slow, for sure, practice of a world based on unconditional love, which starts with you bringing unconditional love to yourself and then the world. And everything that moves on a condition, control, manipulation will collapse. Inside of you and outside, everything will collapse. So it'll feel scary if you don't know what the hell's going on. But if we're in this going, I'm ready to learn unconditional love, you'll understand why certain things seem like they're falling apart. That friendship wasn't based on unconditional love. That company that went out of business wasn't, it was a consumery, manipulative company. Like all of that is going to go. And why? Because those people and everyone involved will learn unconditional love too, because everything mirrors you. So we're here to be present for the darkness inside of us that we've been escaping. We're here. Boy, I'm so close to Bashar. All I got to do is this. Yes. Is it your highest excitement? But I'm just going to stay here. So this is my material. That's Bashar. Welcome to unconditional love.